Hello everyone and welcome to Agile Games with James. Today we're going to be talking about how to pass Scrum.org's exams, or mainly the PSM-1, the Professional Scrum Master Certification. So the first thing you need to know is that you have 2 attempts for Scrum.org to take any test. And hopefully this video will help you with multiple tests, but we're mainly going to be focusing on the Professional Scrum Master 1. So you get 2 attempts. One you need to take within the first 2 weeks, I believe. And then the second you can take after. I'm not sure if there's a time limit on it or not. I've never run into it, so it's never been a problem. So you get these 2 attempts. So hopefully with this guide, you'll be able to help on the first attempt to pass the test. I would usually start with leaving yourself about 4 hours on the day that you're going to take the exam to do some of these things. You probably will not need the 4 hours, and I'm not saying you will need a full 4 hours by any means, but that's just a general rule I give myself before I'm about to take these things after I take a class. So again, it's just my suggestion. It's helped other people take it, but I'm going to give you a list of things, and it might take about 4 hours to get through. So first, you want to, of course, read the Scrum guide, and I've created an audio version of that Scrum guide. You can get through it in, I think it's about 20 minutes. So if you go to the playlist, the Agile Guides playlist, and hit that up if you're interested in just going through it audio only. And there are links in the description to go to different parts if you want to just refresh different parts of it as well. So it's a great tool. Hope that helps the community. So another thing I would do is I would add the booklet or the PDF to this list of things you want to study or go over, because that book and PDF can change based on whatever, this video may not be current at the time. So I go through that PDF or that booklet you get from your Professional Scrum Master class if you did take it. Highly recommend you going through that booklet. It will highlight everything for you, and I would just spend the time every page. Obviously besides like transitional stuff or them recommending books. But you want to understand empiricism, self-organization, the Scrum values. I use the acronym CC4, courage, confidence, focus, openness, and respect for the Scrum values. You want to know the events, artifacts, and roles of Scrum. Of course, those are covered in the Scrum guide heavily, so I'm not going to be going into them in detail here. You want to go to scrum.org and take their Open. And so you might say, oh, James, I've taken the Open a long time ago, for other stuff. And well, their Opens are really good because a lot of their questions may change, and they filter some of those questions into this Open. So I would take the Scrum Master Open. Anytime you're going through another certification, you want to take the PSM Open, maybe the Product Owner Open exam as well, just to make sure that the questions that you're used to answering or might come up, or maybe different questions that will help you answer during the next exam. So take the Scrum Master Open a few times. I say usually 2 to 3, and I would do that the same day as you take the exam, because what's going to happen is you're going to forget, and it's not going to be as fresh. And so what that does is I'll take the Open a couple different times till I get 100. Some people say to do it till you get 100 consistently. I'd say until you know the questions and you feel comfortable as best as you can. But also you're going to want to go to, there's another, I'll put it displayed here as I'm talking because I'm not going to have myself talking. But there's another, especially for the Professional Scrum Master exam, there is a website called MLapshin.com. It's MLapshin.com. And there's also Scrum quizzes on his website. I believe it's him. So go take that as well. It's also really good about telling you why or why not you did not get the question correct, or why you did. Basically the reasoning behind that question. So I highly recommend taking that 2 or 3 times. Just to be full transparency, I failed my Scrum Master certification the first time. I was all like, why did I get this wrong? I worked so hard, I studied so hard. And so my mentor at the time, Ravi Verma, he has his own YouTube channel, Smooth Apps. You should go check it out. First, he recommended me do a lot of the things that I'm passing on to you, but also he said that read Agile Project Management with Scrum. It was written by Ken Schwaber, and so of course Scrum.org is, from my understanding, owned or run by Ken Schwaber. So it's probably a great. It was a great lens into Scrum and his mindset on it, and I highly recommend it for anyone. It's got some great analogies. It's got some great stories and use cases. If you failed your first exam like I did, then I highly recommend Agile Project Management with Scrum by Ken Schwaber. So going through the test, I would use these general test taking steps. One, I'd use process of elimination. What is not the right answer? Like, we know that this isn't not, so let me cut any answers out that are not the right answer. Might sound obvious, but when you're taking the test, it can be stressful, and if you're not like going in with that mindset, it can be rather frustrating. So let's say you get it down to 2 answers. I'm saying pick the best one. Pick your gut instinct at this point, because I'm going to tell you to go through the test 3 different times here. I know it's going to sound intimidating, like James only have 60 minutes, or maybe less, depending on which Scrum.org test you're taking. But yes, I'm going to say go through this test. You're probably going to go through it 3 times, but it's going to make sense. So the first way through, you're going to use process of elimination. But I also want you to have a pen and paper when you go through the test. And sometimes Scrum.org exams have a feature. Sometimes I feel like it's been hit or miss. I'm not sure if it's in all the exams yet or not. But you're able to mark questions if you're not sure, so you're able to come back to them. But you are able to go back through the exam and the questions and go back to each individual question. They might be the answers will be flipped around. Like, you will not come back to the same question and have the exact same order of the answers. It won't be like it'll be like A, B, C, D, but the actual answers might be flipped around. So that might be a little discombobulating for someone who doesn't know that. So that being said, you can go through, write down, use process of elimination for the first all the way through, but also as you're going through the test, you want to mark down on a sheet of paper which ones you are not sure about. Now, I know some people will be like, oh, James, I'm not sure about all of them. I'm taking a test. Well, yes. Well, the ones that you are 90% sure, 80% sure that you have gotten wrong, go back after you've gone all the way through the exam. But before you go back to these questions that you have, I'm going to tell you to do 2 other things. So you want to first go through, use process of elimination, go and writing down the ones you're not sure about. Next, you want to go through and make sure that you answer them fully. So I know, just QA yourself real quick. This is going to take you like 2 or 3 minutes probably, but during the exam. But it's super helpful to making sure that you get 100 or as close to 100% as possible. So go through, make sure that you have multiple answers. It's going to say just below in bold text, it'll say true, false, multiple answer, best 2 options, or what have you. So just make sure you answer them fully. Make sure if it says the best 2 options, you've selected 2. If it says the best 3, make sure you've selected 3. And just go through and quality check yourself real quick. I've missed questions, especially on the first one, not answering them fully or thinking that it says best answer and it's really like best 4 answers. So, and sometimes they get you that way. So just make sure that you go through real quickly. It'll only take you 2 or 3 minutes, I promise you. Maybe at the most 5 if you're going slow, because you have to answer stuff again. But again, go through the whole exam, process of elimination. Go through, and also while you're going through process of elimination, write down the ones you feel bad about. And then go back through, make sure you're answering them all fully. And then that's when you go back and you go through the questions. Okay, which one did I miss? Let me go back to number 11 if I feel like I got that wrong. And go back to number 11 and think on it a little bit. You'll probably have like 15, 20 minutes by the time that you're getting through this. And I say this because, honestly, I have dyslexia. I have since I was a kid. I'm a slow reader, slower than most. But if I can do this, you can do it. So you should be fine. That being said, these are my recommendations for taking the exam. Again, the PSM Open, I would take it 3 times. I would go over the Scrum guide, obviously. Again, there's the audio version on my channel as well. You can go over the booklet at least once. And then again, the general test taking, process of elimination. While you're doing the process of elimination, go through all the questions and write down ones you feel bad about. And then go back through from start to finish in the test, answer all of them fully, and then go back through and go to the questions that you feel like you don't feel good about. And that should help you pass the test successfully. So I hope this has been helpful. Make sure to like or subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you feel like, man, this was really helpful, or man, this is what I did and it put me, just above, so far above the others, and I made 100 because I did this. If you feel like you failed and you just want some compassion from the community, or you want some help, or hopefully I will be able to respond as well. Put stuff in the comments below. I'm usually very responsive. And but also, if you need that extra help from Agile project management with Scrum, there's also a link below in the description for you to find that as well. So keep my guide videos in mind for your other scrum.org or other certifications that you're planning on getting to study, and hope to hear from you soon. If you have any more ideas for videos, love to hear that as well. Thank you for joining us on Agile Games with James. Keep on learning, and I'll see y'all some other time.